Hey, is Thick216 or Ethan back with another digital graffiti piece? Today we're doing a full alphabet, and the style is going to be a bit of an edgier arrow style, something that I'm not super used to. I do like my bubbly styles most of the time, but I needed some experience doing some other styles, so here I am doing a whole alphabet. It's just a little bit out of my comfort zone. And then this is actually one of the first projects that I did where it took me multiple sessions to get through, but I had a good time with it. There are some times where I'm just drawing in my little notebook, kind of just doodling, kind of coming up with new ideas. And this is one of those times where I made maybe one letter and decided that I wanted to make a whole alphabet out of this style. And then pretty much every letter has a kind of unraveling sort of spiraled arrow coming off of it, and a couple of lines, couple of chips, other things just popping off, trying to make each letter have the same type of personality without reusing the same exact thing too often. I was very happy to have people to talk to while I work. I had a couple of new people show up while I was working on this project, so that was very fun. I always like talking to people. I had one chatter the other day come into my chat and immediately start asking me about killing bugs, which I thought was interesting. And it was very strange having someone come in and start off with a topic like that, but I welcome pretty much any kinds of conversation, not just about me making the art. I also want to talk to people, meet new people, maybe whatever. It's just like a casual background to what I'm really doing, which is making the letter J with arrows. But yeah, it's nice to have people to bounce ideas off of if I ever were to get stuck or anything. I tend to have a bit of writer's block always, especially during a project. I don't really go into a project with a whole plan. Like, I started this with a couple of letters, and then I just went straight into streaming it, and I figured that I would just make it as I go, figure it out as it went along. And it's nice to have people there for when I get to a part that I didn't even think about and I needed an opinion or something. I did like doing this style quite a bit because I could just put the letter there in a kind of classic shape and then just add things to it or lightly adjust it. There wasn't a whole lot of guessing as to what the shape of the letter would be, which is nice. There's some styles that I really like where each letter had multiple extra components or extra sweeping bars or what have you, that really made the letter structure seem very decorative or fancy. But these, I was happy I could just make the basic shape and then kind of fit the rest of it to that basic mold. So yeah, as far as planning ahead goes, none at all. I usually don't plan any of my projects all the way through. I like to get an outline or an idea and then at least freeform some of it. I like that feeling of ideas coming to me in the moment a lot. And then there are times where I try to go from start to finish with really nice planning and good beginning sketches, but the whole thing becomes so different over the process that the planning wasn't really as solid as it could have been. So why plan so much if I'm gonna come up with changes and alterations and find new ideas anyway? It's not that planning the idea out is bad or anything, but the organicness is more appealing to me, I think. Like this U right here that I'm drawing, I didn't know how I was going to draw it until I drew it. This V I'm drawing, I had no idea what I was going to do until I drew it, even though, it's a V, 2 bars, not very difficult, not much to do. I'm used to only doing 5 letters at a time because my name thick is only 5 letters, but doing 26, I was not ready for how much time this would take. It took a lot of my time, but I enjoyed it. I'll probably make some more alphabets in the future too. I have a couple other styles that I think I can do. That I think I want to do the whole alphabet for. I should really avoid saying that I can or can't draw things, right? Because if you spend enough time on it, you could probably draw anything. Make anything look nice if you really wanted to, so I'll avoid saying that I can't. Anyway, after I finally get all the letters made, I spent some time getting them in place on the page, ordering them, arranging them, and whatnot. It is a bit rough. 26 is not divided easily into a grid shape, so I had to do some moving around, reorganizing. And then the bottom row, well, I guess one of these rows has 1 extra letter. So it's about a 5x5 grid, except one of the rows has 6. I was gonna try and do a lot more with getting the letters to touch each other, melt into each other, and intersect. But I kind of realized if I wanted to have done that, I probably should have done the letters next to each other while I was making them, instead of making them one by one. So to kind of compensate for the lack of interaction between the letters, I'm adding some arrow elements that will go in between and throughout. That way it'll add a little bit extra flavor. Because not that the letters are boring, but I think that there could always be a little something more. And then I realized that I actually lost the footage of me doing the fill-in for these letters. So as soon as I get them in place, I filled them in with a nice blue, but the footage is lost, so you get this instead. And there we go. A nice blue has been added to the letters. And after I did that, I decided we needed a nice background. So, more arrows, obviously. The style calls for more arrows. So on a new layer, you might have noticed that my my overlay and background and a couple of my side graphics have changed. I accidentally deleted the file with my overlay image on it while I was cleaning up the insides of my files on the computers. I was like reorganizing and everything, and I just absolutely goofed and lost my overlay. So I had to make a new one. Didn't take too long. And then I spent a lot of time on these arrows making sure they looked all right. And then I'm gonna duplicate all these arrows a bunch of times so that way it looks like a lot of arrows instead of just 6 or 7. So I gotta make these first few look really nice so that when I copy them over, they will look just as good and I won't have to edit a bunch of them. So do a little clever mirroring, copying and pasting, getting some more arrows put down. You can see me frantically moving them over the page trying to find space. And then after I got a good amount in there, I put a nice color fade in the back. And this is kind of like a reverse of what the letters were doing. The letters themselves had orange outline and blue interior. The arrows have blue outline, orange interior. And that little glimpse of something was a different project. Don't you worry about that. I'll have a video for that in the future. Now, I wanted to differentiate. I wanted to give some depth to a couple areas. So I thought I would fill in and change the color up on some of these blocks. But I kind of forgot the fact that I filled all the letters with gradient, and this whole thing that I'm doing right here, all this work, is gonna amount to nothing, and I hate the end of it. So here we are watching me do a lot of work that I'm just gonna end up erasing in a minute. I even thought I could balance it out by adding some light to the bottom letters here, and then, you know, right around now, maybe in another minute or two, I finally realized that this is not what I wanted to do. I like went down some rabbit hole of an idea of trying to make these blues inside the letters work a little differently. And it doesn't always work out. Look at me wasting all this time. God, I could have used a bigger paint tool. I could have used a paint bucket. I could have done so many things to speed that up. And there I realized I don't even like it. So I go around, I clean up some of the orange. Fix a couple of the line work errors. A couple of extra things that shouldn't be there. And I decided that the letters weren't popping enough, made them a little darker. That way they stick out from the back a little bit more. Gave the arrows a little bit of depth, a little shadow. And I think that's about it. Oh, this was me fixing, oh my gosh. me fixing the chat box. Like I said, I accidentally deleted a bunch of stuff, including my template for the Twitch overlay. So throughout this, I was kind of getting some things back, replacing some things. But anywho, here's the final image. Final arrow style graffiti piece. Whole alphabet. Hope you guys enjoyed. You can find my artwork at my website, www.thick216.com. I also have videos on TikTok, much shorter videos on TikTok. I have my merch on Redbubble, and thank you very much. Have a good one.